Ahoy, mateys! Welcome aboard as we set sail through the tumultuous waves of history, diving deep into the era that has captured our imaginations for centuries. Piracy, a word that conjures images of daring adventurers, hidden treasures, and swashbuckling battles on the high seas. But beyond the Hollywood glamour lies a complex history, rich culture, and ongoing struggle. Join us as we embark on a journey through the ages, exploring the world of piracy. Piracy is an act of robbery or criminal violence by ship or boat-borne attackers upon another ship or a coastal area, typically with the goal of stealing cargo and other valuable goods. Those who conduct acts of piracy are called pirates, and vessels used for piracy are called pirate ships. The history of piracy is a tale as old as time, with stories that have been told and retold through the ages. From the ancient Mediterranean to the golden age of the Caribbean, piracy has left an indelible mark on the history of the world. Our story begins over 2,000 years ago in the Mediterranean Sea, where the first recorded instances of piracy took place. Around the 14th century BCE, the Sea Peoples, a confederation of naval raiders, disrupted trade and wreaked havoc along the coastlines of the eastern Mediterranean. These early pirates set the stage for centuries of maritime plunder. Fast forward to the 5th century BCE, the Aegean Sea became a hotspot for piracy. The notorious Cilician pirates, operating from the rugged coast of Cilicia in modern-day Turkey, became a formidable force. They terrorized merchant ships and coastal settlements, even capturing Julius Caesar in 75 BCE. After his release, Caesar famously led a campaign to hunt down and crucify his captors, showcasing Rome's determination to eradicate piracy. As we sail north, we enter the Viking Age, spanning from the late 8th to the early 11th century. The Norsemen, renowned for their seafaring prowess, launched raids across Europe. From their longships, they plundered monasteries, villages, and towns, leaving a trail of destruction from the British Isles to the Mediterranean. The Vikings not only pillaged but also established trade routes and settlements, blending piracy with exploration and colonization. The era most synonymous with piracy is the Golden Age, which spanned from the late 17th century to the early 18th century. This period saw the rise of infamous pirates who became legends in their own right. In the Caribbean, one of the most feared pirates of this era was Edward Teach, better known as Blackbeard. With his menacing appearance, complete with a long black beard and slow-burning fuses in his hair, Blackbeard became a symbol of terror. His flagship, Queen Anne's Revenge, struck fear into the hearts of sailors, and his exploits became the stuff of legend. Pirates needed safe havens to rest, resupply, and sell their loot. The island of Tortuga, off the coast of Haiti, became one such infamous pirate haven in the 17th century. Governed by loose alliances of buccaneers, Tortuga provided a sanctuary for pirates to operate with impunity. Another well-known pirate sanctuary was Madagascar, an island in the Indian Ocean. Pirates like William Kidd and Henry Every used Madagascar as a base to launch attacks on the lucrative trade routes of the Indian Ocean. They targeted Mughal ships laden with riches, leading to some of the most lucrative hauls in pirate history. The golden age of piracy couldn't last forever. By the early 18th century, the great naval powers of the time had had enough. The British, Spanish, and French navies began concerted efforts to hunt down and eradicate pirates. Pirate hunters like Captain Woodes Rogers, the governor of the Bahamas, led campaigns to capture or kill notorious pirates. Blackbeard met his end in 1718 during a fierce battle off the coast of North Carolina. The pirate captain was killed, and his head was displayed as a warning to others. Pirate trials became common, and many pirates were hanged as a deterrent to those who might follow in their footsteps. The decline of piracy was hastened by the increased presence of naval patrols and the cooperation between nations to suppress the threat. When we think of pirates, we often imagine daring rogues and swashbuckling adventurers, but what was life really like for these seafaring outlaws? Contrary to popular belief, pirate life was not lawless chaos. Pirates operated under a strict set of rules known as the Pirate Code, or Articles of Agreement. Each pirate crew would draft their own version of the code, which all members had to sign. These articles outlined the rules for division of plunder, conduct during battle, and the resolution of disputes. The spoils of piracy were divided according to a pre-agreed system. Captains and skilled craftsmen received larger shares, while ordinary crew members received equal parts. Injuries sustained in battle were compensated with additional shares, ensuring all crew members were incentivized to fight bravely. Strict rules governed behavior on board. Fighting between crew members was discouraged, with disputes often settled by duels or marooning the offending party. Theft from fellow pirates was severely punished, often by death or abandonment on a deserted island. Pirate crews operated on democratic principles. Captains were elected by the crew and could be deposed by the same process. Major decisions, such as whether to engage a ship in battle or where to sail next, were made by majority vote. This level of democracy was rare for the time and contrasted sharply with the hierarchical structure of naval and merchant vessels. The captain held a crucial but not absolute role in pirate society. Elected for their skill, bravery, and charisma, pirate captains led their crews in battle and made strategic decisions. However, their power was balanced by the crew's ability to remove them if they were deemed ineffective or tyrannical. Captains had to maintain the loyalty and respect of their crew. They often led by example, sharing in the hardships and dangers of pirate life. Successful captains, like Blackbeard and Bartholomew Roberts, earned legendary status through their leadership and daring exploits. The quartermaster was the second most important figure on a pirate ship, acting as a counterbalance to the captain's authority. Elected by the crew, the quartermaster was responsible for maintaining discipline, distributing supplies, and overseeing the division of plunder. They also represented the crew's interests, ensuring that the captain did not abuse their power. In battle, the quartermaster led the boarding party, often fighting alongside the crew on the front lines. This role made them one of the most respected and influential members of the pirate community. Life on a pirate ship was harsh and demanding, but it also offered a level of freedom and camaraderie that was rare in the 17th and 18th centuries. Pirates came from diverse backgrounds, including former sailors, escaped slaves, and outcasts from society. This diversity fostered a sense of equality and brotherhood among the crew. Pirate ships were cramped and unsanitary. Crew members slept in hammocks or on the deck, exposed to the elements. Food was often scarce and of poor quality, consisting of salted meat, hardtack, and whatever could be scavenged or stolen. Despite the hardships, pirates found ways to entertain themselves. Music, dancing, and storytelling were popular pastimes. Many pirates played instruments like fiddles and drums, creating a lively and communal atmosphere on board. Medical care on pirate ships was rudimentary. Injuries and illnesses were common, and pirates often relied on crude surgeries and herbal remedies. Some ships employed surgeons, often recruited from captured vessels, to provide basic medical treatment. While piracy was predominantly a male occupation, women did play significant roles in pirate history. Some, like in Bonnie and Mary Red, disguised themselves as men to join pirate crews. Their courage and skill earned them respect among their male counterparts, and they participated fully in the life of piracy. Women also influenced piracy through their roles on land. Pirate havens like Nassau and Tortuga were home to many women who ran taverns, provided supplies, and sometimes even commanded their own ships. These women contributed to the pirate economy and the social fabric of pirate communities. Pirate shipwrecks have long captured the imagination of treasure hunters, historians, and adventurers. These sunken vessels, lost to the depths of the sea, hold stories of daring exploits, hidden treasures, and the perilous lives of pirates. The Whydah Galley is one of the most famous pirate shipwrecks ever discovered. Originally a slave ship, the Whydah was captured by Bellamy in 1717 and transformed into a pirate vessel. The Whydah Galley was a state-of-the-art ship when Bellamy captured it. With its speed and firepower, it became one of the most feared pirate ships in the Atlantic. Bellamy and his crew plundered over 50 ships in just a few months. The Whydah met its fate on April 26, 1717, when it was caught in a violent storm off the coast of Cape Cod, Massachusetts. The ship, laden with treasure from its numerous raids, was driven onto a sandbar and shattered by the waves. Of the 146 crew members, only 2 survived. In 1984, underwater explorer Barry Clifford discovered the wreck of the Witta galley. The site has yielded a wealth of artifacts, including gold coins, jewelry, and weapons, providing invaluable insights into pirate life in the early 18th century. Queen Anne's Revenge, the flagship of the notorious pirate Blackbeard, is another legendary pirate shipwreck. Originally a French slave ship named La Concorde, it was captured by Blackbeard in 1717. Renamed Queen Anne's Revenge, the ship was armed with 40 guns and became a symbol of Blackbeard's terror on the high seas. In June 1718, Blackbeard ran the Queen Anne's Revenge aground near Beaufort Inlet, North Carolina. The exact reason for this maneuver remains unclear, but some speculate it was intentional to downsize his crew and share the spoils among fewer men. The wreck was discovered in 1996, and subsequent excavations have uncovered thousands of artifacts, including cannons, medical instruments, and navigational tools. These discoveries have provided a glimpse into the daily operations and life aboard Blackbeard's flagship. Joseph Bannister was a former British merchant captain who turned to piracy. His ship, the Golden Fleece, became notorious in the Caribbean. Bannister's most famous exploit was his daring escape from 2 Royal Navy warships off the coast of Hispaniola in 1686. The Golden Fleece was eventually captured and destroyed by the Royal Navy. Its exact location remained a mystery until 2009 when marine archaeologist Charles Beaker discovered the wreck off the coast of the Dominican Republic. While pirates operated outside the law, privateers sailed under the protection of their governments, blurring the lines between legitimate naval warfare and outright piracy. Privateering emerged as a form of legalized piracy, sanctioned by governments to disrupt enemy trade during wartime. Privateers operated under a government-issued document known as a letter of marque. This letter authorized them to attack and capture enemy vessels, sharing the spoils with their government. The letter of marque provided a legal distinction between privateers and pirates. Privateering was often motivated by profit. Governments saw it as a cost-effective way to augment their naval forces, while privateers sought financial gain from the prizes they captured. Privateering became particularly prominent during the 16th to 19th centuries, with major conflicts such as the Anglo-Spanish War, the War of Spanish Succession, and the American Revolutionary War seeing extensive privateer activity. An American naval commander during the Revolutionary War, John Paul Jones is often called the father of the American Navy. His audacious attacks on British ships and coastal towns made him a hero in the United States. Privateers played significant roles in various wars, impacting the outcomes and strategies of naval engagements. During the late 16th century, English privateers like Francis Drake and John Hawkins targeted Spanish treasure fleets, weakening Spain's economy and military power. American privateers were instrumental in disrupting British supply lines. Their raids on British merchant ships provided essential supplies to the Continental Army and boosted American morale. Privateers were crucial for both the United States and Britain. American privateers, in particular, captured numerous British vessels, contributing to the war effort and compensating for the relatively small American Navy. Privateers from various European nations preyed on enemy shipping, further complicating the already complex naval warfare of the period. French privateers, known as corsairs, were particularly active against British shipping. By the mid-19th century, the practice of privateering began to decline due to changes in international law and naval warfare. This international treaty marked a significant turning point in the history of privateering. Major European powers agreed to abolish privateering, marking the beginning of the end for state-sanctioned piracy. The rise of steam-powered ships and more organized naval forces reduced the effectiveness of privateers. Traditional sailing ships, which privateers commonly used, became obsolete in the face of modern naval technology. Privateering left a lasting impact on maritime history and naval warfare. Privateers contributed to the economies of their home countries by capturing valuable cargoes. They also disrupted enemy trade, which could have significant economic consequences during wartime. While privateering is no longer practiced, the concept of private military and security companies operating in conflict zones can be seen as a modern parallel, raising similar questions about the legal and ethical implications of privatized warfare. Commerce raiders were the scourge of maritime trade, targeting merchant ships to disrupt economies and gain immense wealth. These ruthless pirates played a significant role in naval history, blending piracy with strategic warfare. Commerce raiders, also known as garde-corps, were privateers or pirates who focused on attacking enemy merchant ships rather than engaging in direct naval combat. The primary goal of commerce raiders was to capture or destroy enemy trade vessels, thereby weakening their adversary's economy and war effort. This form of asymmetric warfare targeted the lifeblood of nations, trade and supplies. While some commerce raiders operated under letters of marque, others acted independently as pirates. The thin line between privateering and piracy often blurred, depending on the perspective of those involved. Commerce raiding was prevalent from the 16th to the 20th century, with notable peaks during major conflicts such as the American Civil War and both World Wars. Commerce raiders employed various tactics to maximize their impact and avoid confrontation with superior naval forces. Many raiders used false flags and disguises to approach their targets undetected. By posing as friendly or neutral vessels, they could get close enough to launch a sudden attack. Fast, agile ships were essential for commerce raiders. They needed to outrun and outmaneuver both their prey and any pursuing naval vessels. The threat of commerce raiders created fear and uncertainty among merchant crews. The mere possibility of an attack could disrupt shipping routes and force merchants to take longer, safer paths. By targeting merchant ships, commerce raiders disrupted supply lines, causing shortages and inflation. This economic impact could weaken an enemy's war effort and morale. The threat posed by commerce raiders forced navies to develop countermeasures, including convoy systems, armed merchant ships, and dedicated hunter-killer groups. These tactics aimed to protect trade routes and neutralize the raider threat. The blurred line between privateering and piracy sparked debates over the legality and morality of commerce raiding. International laws and treaties, such as the Declaration of Paris, sought to regulate and eventually abolish privateering. The constant cat-and-mouse game between raiders and their pursuers drove advancements in naval technology, including faster ships, better communication systems, and more effective armaments. While traditional commerce raiding has declined, modern naval warfare still includes elements of economic disruption, such as blockades, sanctions, and cyber attacks on shipping infrastructure. The study of commerce raiders provides insights into the broader themes of conflict, law, and morality in maritime history. It highlights the complex interplay between state-sanctioned warfare and outright piracy. Some pirate activities are orchestrated by organized crime syndicates that exploit maritime routes for smuggling, human trafficking, and other illicit activities. These networks provide resources, intelligence, and logistical support to pirate crews. Modern pirates employ a range of tactics to hijack ships and evade capture. Pirates typically use small, fast boats to approach and board larger vessels. These boats can easily navigate coastal waters and are difficult for larger ships to detect and outrun. Pirates are often armed with automatic weapons, rocket-propelled grenades, and other modern firearms. They use GPS, satellite phones, and other communication technologies to coordinate their attacks. Pirates use grappling hooks, ladders, and other tools to board ships. They often attack at night or in low-visibility conditions to minimize the risk of detection. Anti-piracy measures are essential for ensuring the safety of maritime routes and protecting global commerce. Technology plays a vital role in enhancing maritime security and anti-piracy measures. Modern ships are equipped with radar, sonar, and satellite tracking systems that provide early warning of potential pirate threats. Automated identification systems, AIS, allow ships to monitor the movements of other vessels in their vicinity. Drones provide aerial surveillance, enabling real-time monitoring of vast ocean areas. They can track suspicious activities and relay information to naval forces or ship crews. Secure satellite communication systems ensure that ships can maintain contact with naval forces and other vessels even in remote areas. This allows for quick response and coordination in case of an attack. Many countries have amended their laws to allow for the prosecution of pirates. Specialized courts, such as those in Kenya and the Seychelles, have been established to handle piracy cases. Ensuring that captured pirates face justice is crucial for deterrence. Shipping companies have adopted various best practices to minimize the risk of pirate attacks. The shipping industry follows BMP guidelines, which include route planning, maintaining high speeds in high-risk areas, and implementing watchkeeping protocols. These practices are designed to make vessels less attractive targets for pirates. Many ships are now equipped with secure, fortified areas known as citadels. In the event of an attack, crew members can retreat to these areas, which are equipped with communication tools and supplies to wait for rescue. Piracy, a crime as old as seafaring itself, poses significant challenges to international law and order. Addressing piracy's legal aspects involves a complex web of international treaties, national laws, and cooperative frameworks. The SUA Convention, adopted in 1988, broadens the legal framework to include acts of terrorism and other unlawful acts against ships, including those in territorial waters. It mandates states to establish jurisdiction over offenders and to cooperate in the prevention, investigation, and prosecution of such acts. While piracy on the high seas falls under universal jurisdiction, acts committed in territorial waters are subject to the jurisdiction of the coastal state. This distinction can complicate legal proceedings and enforcement efforts. The principle of flag state jurisdiction means that a ship is subject to the laws of the country whose flag it flies. This can create complications when the flag state is unwilling or unable to prosecute pirates. Naval forces engaged in anti-piracy operations must adhere to international humanitarian law and rules of engagement. The capture and detention of suspected pirates must be conducted in a manner that respects their human rights. Sentences for piracy can vary widely depending on the jurisdiction. While some countries impose long prison sentences or even the death penalty, others may offer more lenient penalties. Pirates continuously adapt their tactics to evade detection and capture. Legal frameworks must evolve to address new methods and technologies used by pirates. Piracy, despite its criminal nature, has captured the imagination of people for centuries. Cultural perceptions of pirates range from fearsome villains to romanticized anti-heroes. During the medieval period, pirates continued to be viewed as lawless marauders. The rise of powerful maritime empires led to increased naval patrols to combat piracy, reinforcing the image of pirates as enemies of the state. Written by Captain Charles Johnson, a possible pseudonym for Daniel Defoe, this book played a significant role in shaping the mythos of pirates. It provided vivid accounts of pirate lives, emphasizing their bravery and defiance against oppressive authorities. Early 20th century silent films like The Black Pirate, starring Douglas Fairbanks, portrayed pirates as swashbuckling heroes. These films established many of the visual tropes associated with pirates, such as eye patches, parrots, and treasure maps. Films like Captain Blood, 1935, and The Sea Hawk, both starring Errol Flynn, cemented the image of the dashing, heroic pirate. These movies combined action, romance, and high-seas adventure, creating enduring stereotypes. The blockbuster film series, beginning with The Curse of the Black Pearl, reignited global interest in pirates. Johnny Depp's portrayal of Captain Jack Sparrow introduced a new kind of anti-heroic pirate, blending charm, wit, and roguish behavior. Series like Black Sails provided a grittier, more realistic portrayal of pirate life, focusing on the harsh realities and political complexities of the golden age of piracy. Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag popular game allowed players to experience the life of a pirate, blending historical events with fiction. It highlighted the adventurous and strategic aspects of piracy, appealing to a broad audience. Sea of Thieves multiplayer game emphasizes exploration, teamwork, and pirate lore, offering an immersive pirate experience that continues to captivate players. Events like the Gasparilla Pirate Festival in Tampa, Florida, and the Pirates of the High Seas Fest in Panama City Beach celebrate pirate history with parades, reenactments, and themed activities, drawing enthusiasts from around the world. The Jolly Roger flag, with its skull and crossbones, has become a global symbol of defiance and independence. It appears in various forms of media and merchandise, reinforcing its iconic status. Piracy has not only shaped the cultural landscape, but also significantly impacted global economics throughout history. Pirates targeted ships carrying valuable cargoes, including gold, silver, spices, textiles, and other goods. These stolen treasures were often sold or traded in black markets or pirate havens. Pirates reinvested their earnings into acquiring and outfitting ships, weapons, and supplies, enhancing their capabilities for future raids. The risk of pirate attacks drove up insurance premiums for shipping companies. Merchants had to pay higher rates to protect their cargoes, increasing the cost of goods. To mitigate piracy risks, ships often traveled in convoys with naval escorts. This added to the operational costs of shipping, as more resources were needed to ensure safe passage. Some colonies adapted by diversifying their economies. For example, Caribbean colonies developed agriculture and trade networks to reduce reliance on vulnerable shipping routes. European maritime powers such as Spain, England, and France invested heavily in naval forces to combat piracy. The costs of building and maintaining fleets strained national treasuries. The decline of piracy and privateering led to economic shifts. Port cities that thrived on pirate trade, such as Port Royal, experienced economic downturns as legitimate trade routes became safer. With the reduction of piracy, legitimate trade flourished. Stable trade routes encouraged economic growth, and new markets emerged, fostering global economic integration. The economic activities of historical pirates have left a lasting legacy in popular culture. Stories of buried treasure, pirate codes, and democratic practices continue to captivate imaginations. Pirate history has become a tourist attraction in many former pirate havens. Museums, festivals, and tours celebrate pirate heritage, contributing to local economies. The response to piracy has taught valuable lessons about economic adaptation and resilience. Societies affected by piracy have developed strategies to protect trade and promote economic stability. Piracy is a multifaceted phenomenon with a rich history that continues to evolve. From the swashbuckling tales of the Golden Age to the strategic raids of privateers and the modern challenges of contemporary piracy, the impact of piracy on global trade, culture, and legal systems is profound. As we navigate through the complexities of anti-piracy measures and the legal frameworks designed to combat this age-old threat, it's clear that the spirit of adventure and rebellion embodied by pirates has left an indelible mark on our world. Thank you for joining us on this captivating journey through the history and economics of piracy.